apply to them.
Do you pay more for that?
What do you mean?
Well, if you
Do you pay more?
on the super, do you pay extra to be covered?
Yes, you do.
Disability, you do.
Yep. If you're in a fund, the super fund, as a general rule, they'll take out an administration fee each week or 6 monthly, and if you want insurance, then it'll cost you an extra couple of dollars.
Yeah.
It might cost $2 or $3 or $4 or $6 a week, but if you were to try and get that same level of insurance on a personal insurance policy, you would pay a hell of a lot. Well, one, you probably wouldn't get it, but for two, it would probably cost a hell of a lot more. Yeah.
Well, what's the actual name of that? What do you call that? The disability one for super?
It's called the insurance cover is called total and permanent disability insurance cover.
And not all of them offer it.
Sorry? Almost all. Almost all of them.
really?
Yeah, almost all of them do these days. But
Sorry, the name again on this.
Oh, sure.
Total
And permanent disability cover. Yeah. And as I was saying, that's pretty badly misunderstood as a term, total and permanent disability. I mean, I speak to a lot of people who suffer from something like a mental illness, like stress or anxiety, depression, and those sorts of things, or chronic fatigue syndrome and those sorts of things, who think that they're not able to claim these benefits, and they absolutely are, if their medical evidence on balance supports that they're not going to be able to work again. Certainly in my experience, those sorts of people get a harder time from insurers because you can't do, you can't do an X-ray to show that you've got stress, anxiety or depression, so they seem to get a pretty hard run. But
well, it's not very widely known, is it, about this impairment disability?
no, it's not.
It's not very well made public very much.
And look, the other side of this insurance, because there's actually two ways that you can claim the total and permanent disability insurance. The first is if you're unable to do the work that you're reasonably trained or qualified to do. But the second way that you can claim it is if you have lost the use of 2 hands, 2 feet, or 2 eyes, or 1 hand and 1 foot. Okay, so, and what that means is that if you, for example, have lost the use of 2 legs, you might still have a capacity to be in the workforce, but you can still claim that benefit because you're what's called deemed total and permanently disabled. Okay, which means that you can claim the insurance benefit even though you're still working because you've lost the use of 2 hands or 2 feet or 2 eyes.
Well, do any of the super funds automatically give you that cover?
Almost all of them, yeah. I mean,
without having to ask for it?
Yes.
I mean,
Most super funds these days, if you join them and your employer makes a contribution in, most of them provide you with insurance cover.
Okay.
I mean, we can't give you advice about what funds to choose or anything like that, but certainly if you need sort of to be told what a particular fund is offering you, we can tell you that. I mean, you can call us up and we can have a look at the policy that you're looking at and tell you what they're going to cover you for or what they're not going to cover you for.
Thank you.
Well, I don't know whether I'm getting it right. So you're saying for a person who thinks they may have this disability without being tested, that if they go to an insurance company and say, I want a life policy, $200,000, they'll be asked all these questions. But if they go to their super fund and they've got that insurance portion in that super fund.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Yeah. And the super fund doesn't ask as many questions as what the insurance company.
Yeah, the super fund. I mean, a lot of times super funds open up an account, and when you join, you start up employment at an employer. They'll say, do you want to be in the super fund? You go, yeah, I'll just be in whatever one. Yeah, no worries, and you sign the form. And literally, it's got your name, your age, your date of birth, and your address, and maybe a phone number, and your signature at the bottom. That's it, and it starts up. So that might be the limit of the question that you're asked.
So does that mean then that person negates worrying about his life policy with an insurance company and just does it through his super?
Well, that's a decision, I suppose, to have a look at. I mean, quite often someone has, for example, a personal permanent disability insurance policy, and they've got one in their super fund. There's nothing to stop you having two claims.
Right.
You know, so negating to pay the premiums on that one might mean that you lose out on valuable insurance. So, for example, one of the things that's sort of come about recently is this thing called account-based insurance, where in the past it was that your insurance on the policy would stay there as long as there's an employer making constant payments into the fund, but then if an employer stopped contributing, then the insurance cover would lapse, right? But now there's a number of superannuation funds where that's not the case, where if an employer, say you're working for someone and there's maybe you've got, I don't know, $5,000 of insurance, and you stop working, you change employers and you work for a different job and they put you into a different super fund. If this first one has account-based cover, then